In the name of God, the most beneficent, the merciful. This is part two of our analysis of why the Iranian elections were not rigged, and um, we will talk about the blatant uh, lies that are being spread by Western media outlets, in particular CNN. Um, we were discussing how 11 million votes could not have been rigged, and how suddenly the 10th presidential elections are so important when the previous 9 were downplayed and we were told that they were irrelevant. Um, we talked about there's nothing odd about Mahmoud Ahmadinejad winning over some reformists, because he is the one who was the mayor of Tehran, and he won mayoral elections for Tehran. Um, so there's nothing odd about him winning uh, in national elections, especially after a 4-year term in which he fulfilled his promise about distribution of wealth and his foreign policy implementation and other things that he delivered on, and especially his fight against corruption, which is at the crux of the polemics between him and Mousavi and Karoubi and others who have grown very rich in the past 30 years. This brings us to another interesting point. BBC and CNN started claiming 3 months before the elections that Mousavi was a clear leader, and that if he did not win, then that might indicate vote rigging. Um, this is completely untrue, as we will see further in the presentation. In fact, the only two independent Western agencies that conducted independent polling from outside of Iran and canvassed Iran, they found that their data showed that Ahmadinejad should have won by a larger margin than he actually ended up winning. So the question is, where did the BBC and CNN get all this information that Mousavi was the clear leader, when in fact he wasn't, as all the scientific data clearly shows. The other interesting thing to point is that Mousavi himself declared that he was the definite winner an hour after the polls closed. How did Mousavi know he won an hour after the polls closed? That makes no sense. Both Mousavi, Rafsanjani, Khatami, who are all together in this, and CNN and BBC knew that if he were to lose this election, the reformist camp would be politically dead in the water and their political careers would be over. If Mahmoud Ahmadinejad gets another 4-year term and continues to implement his foreign and domestic policies, they know, and the BBC and CNN know, and more importantly, their Zionist collaborators know, that it will change the course of history in that region. Because Ahmadinejad was implementing a policy whereby even a former Speaker of the Knesset, Avram Berg, openly admitted that the end of the Zionist state is upon them. Uh, the other thing to keep in mind is that for the first time in Iranian political history, live televised debates took place between all the contestants, and Ahmadinejad obliterated Mousavi. Even his supporters, according to CNN themselves, admitted in street interviews that they were shocked by how ineffective Mousavi was in these debates. This in itself could have propelled Ahmadinejad to the large margin of victory that he won by. Um, well, the question is, why did the CNN, the BBC, Mousavi, Rafsanjani, and others collude to create an impression of an imminent victory? This was not the case, and this can be proven by, well, this brings us to Exhibit D. Exhibit D, or the fourth exhibit, number 4, is that what CNN and BBC what CNN has failed to mention, and BBC has occasionally referenced it, is that 2 independent Western organizations conducted polls in Iran before the elections, and they predicted that Ahmadinejad would win by a larger margin than he actually did. The poll was undertaken by 2 U.S. nonprofit organizations, the Terror Free Tomorrow, the Center for Public Opinion, and the American Strategy Program at the New American Foundation